Breaking news. Beginning of the episode, maybe, while we're recording. Tyler Glasnow, friend, wedding table friend, we believe traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kenny Rosenthal tweeted, and there was some smoke and fire with this last night, but they weren't real accounts, and I don't want to be rude to them because I was a not real account that kind of reported some stuff before, but
maybe one day you'll graduate. But
Tyler Glasnow and Manny Margot from the Rays for Ryan Pepio, who came up and had a nice little cup of coffee last year, and Johnny DeLuca, from the Dodgers, going to the Tampa Bay Rays. So this was rumored. You know, Glasnow was one of the guys we thought would be traded this offseason. You thought, Cubs, Dodgers, Braves, any of the big boys that needed a starting pitcher, you're all in on this guy because his best is as good as almost any pitcher in baseball. When he's on, I think he's my favorite pitcher. Now there's even more bias to him. Go listen to any of his Chris Rose rotations. The awesome dude. And he's going back to Cali. So he will be in the Dodgers rotation. Pepio, I know that was a young guy. One of our friends and investors in the company, Jack Davis, big Dodgers fan, was here yesterday and was like, I don't want them trading any of those young guys. I like them all. You traded one of them, and if I think the Rays are stoked about this deal because it's 1 year of Tyler Glasnow for $30 million.
I believe he's 25, but
okay,
yeah. So by far their highest salary.
Manny Margot, who's making a little bit of money, was he $6 or $8 million or something like that?
I had him in the 9 range.
For the Rays, that's very real money. And they get Ryan Pepio, who they've got to have 5 years of control of at least. Johnny DeLuca.
10 this year, mutual option for 12 the next on Manny.
So the Rays, I think they're viewing it as we just got rid of $40 million or so, 35, 40, whatever it lands at. Tyler Glasnow, as much as I love him, he doesn't have the big inning season. I think he's cleared 100 innings once. When you really think about that, like how long he's been in our lexicon. That being said, I think if there's ever been a year he's been primed for, like he kind of broke out, then COVID season, got hurt. Like this is the one. This is the contract year. If he goes out and shoves this year, he was getting one of those big boy contracts. I think he will. Especially with the Dodgers, raised to the Dodgers. Pretty good orgs to be with, Tyler. You slot him in the rotation, and if we're being honest, think about everything. Well, unless this is at the front of the episode, you might hear it later. The Dodgers are in first place every year. The Dodgers are 10 out of 11 years they've been first place?
Every year but one since 2013, so whatever numbers those are.
The one was second place by 1 game to the Giants.
Special team.
So they want Tyler Glasnow for the postseason. That's a guy who's pitched in the postseason. His stuff is electric. He's got to be hype. I know he's hype. On the record, I know Tyler Glasnow's hype. And then, Margot, I have that as kind of a salary dump. We went through the Margot rumors of looking at his contract and who he is as a ball player. A very useful ball player. And if
there's a team that can maximize that besides the Rays, it is the Dodgers.
Plays good defense. I think he hits lefties, so the Dodgers will find a spot for him. And maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe Lux and Betts is going to be their up-the-middle infield this year. And I think we could look back at this and say Rays are the Rays, man. Depending what Glasnow gives them this season, it is 1 year. And, man, Pepio last year. So,
he's the one young guy that, the stats were no doubt good.
So he pitched in 2022, 36.1 innings, a 3.47 ERA. A 2.14 ERA last year in 42 innings, a mix of starts and coming out of the bullpen. The FIP doesn't love him as much. He's not a super strikeout guy, but what the Rays are seeing is an arm that they can tap into. and they will have control of him probably till like 2030. And that's a guy that they're going to use. So kind of a win-win. I think Dodgers fans might be a little surprised by the package because, they still need more arms. But they need more MLB arms. Like, they have a ton of prospects there. I obviously still think they're in on the Dodgers and Corbin Burns because if Glasnow's your high-end guy and, like, let's get him to the postseason and he could give us 6 shutty, you still need, like, an 180-inning gobbler in this rotation. So I think that's coming. Dodgers, how about their offseason, huh? Ohtani and Glasnow? That's pretty good. That's pretty good, and I think they're just getting going. And this is a raise is going to raise trade that I'd probably value-wise over the next 5 years, what they get from those two players is more for them than they would have got out of Tyler Glasnow in this one season. So Glasnow, the first trade. Not the first trade. We had our Mariners get in the mix with Kelnick and a couple others, obviously. But
Juan Soto.
4 aces, that's what the pitchers of the 4 aces that had a really good likelihood of getting traded. Now Glasnow is off the board. That leaves Cease, Bieber, who I think you were saying people were kind of pulling back on the trade rumors. Or no?
I wasn't saying that.
Okay.
I think it meant like just not this week.
Bieber, Cease, Burns. So, man, can I tell you a team that I'm really nervous for? The Chicago Cubs. Their number 2 pitcher was Marcus Stroman last year. He's a free agent. Cody Bellinger was the guy in their lineup. He is a free agent. If they re-sign Belly and Stroman, you're back to where you were. They were supposedly a big Glasnow team. They were supposedly a big Ohtani team. Starting to run lower on options. This is win-win Dodgers Rays. All right. Fast forward or go back in time. Hello and welcome to Wake and Jake, myself, BBD, as we are talking some more baseball free agency. Our guy Jung-hoo Lee signs with the San Francisco Giants. It might have been a bigger number than you thought. Seth Lugo, I know you all had him on your Christmas list. He signs with those pesky Royals. I guess we can dive into that if we want to. And I've got an exciting little thing for this NFL weekend you might not know yet. So a little teaser for that as we hope the MLB is still bending and about to break off-season-wise. Whether that's Yamamoto, whether that's Snell, whether that's Bellinger, Matt Chapman. And yeah, the thing that got me yesterday, name drop off the bat, Jeff Passan for clicks. Was texting him yesterday. And yeah, I don't think I relayed this to you guys yet. During the middle of our Talking Baseball Ohtani contract breakdown episode, which was delicious, but I don't know how informative.
I don't know how many questions we honestly answered.
We might have created more questions. We did our best, and that's all you can do in this life or the next.
We entertained.
I texted Passan midway through the episode, and I was just like, I can read my text verbatim. I don't think I can read his. I said, hey, what do you think 3 idiots talking about the Ohtani contract are missing? And he basically said some of the main stuff he said is already out there. Like, every big market team should have done this. And that ties to our San Francisco Giants, who that fan base must have had a funny yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and Farhan said, like, they exact offer. They had that.
Yeah, which you wonder. We'll get into that in a second.
They played.
the other thing that Passan basically laid out was like, this is a great deal for the team. I know you can get lost in the finances of it and what does this really mean, but this is a very team-friendly deal for Ohtani. I think the other thing that's getting left behind, our Matty Mass getting referenced in a lot of this because he like it in numbies. He sent basically the same text to me and Jimmy after, and he's like, is there something I'm missing? And I think the only thing that Matty was missing, because Matty's like, why wouldn't Team USA from the World Baseball Classic all do their contracts like this and join one team? And where I countered, I don't think any team could do two of these contracts.
No.
Because let's just say you copied and pasted Ohtani, which isn't apples and apples because, one, there's not another Ohtani.
Yeah. It'd be different numbers for other guys.
Say Trey Turner did this, and it was 10 years, $550, but all the money was deferred. There would be a team, the Los Angeles Dodgers, that at some point would be paying, let's say Trey Turner was $50 million a year while he's not playing. To pay Trey Turner and Shohei Ohtani $115 million to not play? Like, the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets probably could do that, but at a certain point, I think that's awful business. And I think Shohei is such an outlier that this isn't going to become the norm. Like, even Soto. Like, Soto might defer more money, or...
Soto's one of the guys that now that this is a possible, maybe he does.
Soto's got money in his bank account. In my bank account. And will probably defer some money, like we took Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, there's Max Scherzer. Guys have deferred money.
The practice of deferring is fairly common.
Yeah, I think it does spread out the team's tax a little bit. But also, like everyone has been saying, all the finance people have been saying, yes, this is bad business for Ohtani, more or less. Outside of the fact that the headline is he gets $700 million, which, I mean, the guy doesn't really need more publicity. But yeah, like Soto's number now, like remember when Soto got offered $440 from the Nats, one of the team that did a lot of deferrals in the past?
They might still be the team that's done the most deferrals.
That $440 probably had a lot of deferrals in it. Juan Soto's now going to get $500 million. It's just, how does that look? It's probably going to have some deferrals in there. So that'll be a Talking Yanks discussion through a lot of the season.
Big Talking Yanks discussion.
And I think we finally have to start transitioning out of Ohtani for clicks. I know. Even as
we did it enough this episode.
Couple Waking Jakes, couple talking baseball today. He's been on our minds, and that's okay.
Well, the last thing to say about it, people getting hung up on, like, why would Ohtani, specifically the Matty conversation, if he's cost himself X amount by doing this. Well, straight up 700 over 10 wasn't on the table. It wasn't like he had that in front of him and he said, let's defer this so you guys can spend more.
Yes. It was probably 500 over 10 or something like that. And then,
even if it was 550.
You start playing with funny money. We're investing it. Never invested in my life. Ooh, I should look at that's a lie. Because if you remember, I bought one silver stock. What app was that even? I think that was Robinhood ad. So, okay, we'll end the show with some of my financials, as we always do.
As you go.
As we always do. Open password options? Oh, God. That's going to be trouble. We might not end with my financials. I lied because there is a little more Shohei because, like you just mentioned, BBD, as details have been leaking out on Shohei, we do find out that the Giants and Shohei and Farhad, their owner, Zaidi? I think so. Farhan?
I think Farhan Zaidi.
Farhan, yeah.
Nailed it.
And I guess this is kind of weird because this was last night. I was at home. I watched a little bit of Luka versus LeBron. It was fun. Players only on the broadcast. Good game. the NBA intensity was there. Dante Exum, big night. I always like Dante Exum. You give me a long point guard, I'm interested. He shot the lights out of the ball. I guess he went to Europe and he came back. So I don't know. For all my Dante Exum stands. But so the tweets going around last night were that the Giants and Ohtani left off offering the same exact deal and let the chips fall where they may a little bit. Which I don't know. I don't think I'm going to end up being the biggest friend of Giants fans after this whole conversation, after just sending off a couple tester tweets last night. But apparently they were genuinely in the mix for Shohei, because we haven't heard a thing about an East Coast team. Like, Jim's been big on that. Like, Cohen said they didn't even get the call. The Yankees didn't seem involved. It seemed like West Coast and Shohei was going to become a thing, which we've seen this for some players from Japan. Like, I think there's a business side for that. You are, 5 hours, 6 hours closer to home. Like, I don't know. There's some stuff that makes sense about it. That the Giants, who have missed on Correa, Judge. Is there another one?
They were loudly going to pursue Mookie, and he just never made it to free agency.
Not into
I
it.
feel like somebody else they were like.
I guess Shohei's kind of in the bucket now.
Did they want Gausman back and didn't get him?
So if you're a Giants fan yesterday, you see these quotes and you're like, okay, so we were really in on Ohtani, and it was what's now being regarded as this team-friendly, almost unfair contract by some fans, just being a little over the top about it, I think, if we're being honest. But the Giants were in the mix, and then I guess you start playing, or if I was a Giants fan and just as a National Baseball fan, I don't know, if we're all kind of goofing and gaffing at this contract, that the financial side you can spin whatever way you want. If I'm the Giants, I wouldn't want to be at the same number as the Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have more recent success. The Dodgers have Freddie and Mookie right now. The Dodgers, not to be rude, but they're the Dodgers. How about this? I've done this before. I will go to Baseball Reference. I will type Los Angeles Dodgers into the search page. And this is the recent history of the Dodgers. I'll start in 2023. NL West. First, second, first. That takes you to 2013. Like, I try to call out Yankees fans for being spoiled and obnoxious. I mean, that's crazy. I know we like to lean into more like the Dodgers. Oh, have they won a real World Series? 2020. I mean, that run of success is insane. That's first place 10 out of 11 years. And the year they finished second, it was those Giants by one game. By one game. The Dodgers won, Dodgers only won 106 that regular season. And the Dodgers beat the Giants in the playoffs, if I remember correctly. Let's double check that.
I believe so.
Because I think that was the Logan Webb. Let's see. Braves beat the Dodgers. Click the CS. If you're the Giants, I'm sorry. Like, those quotes would almost make me more mad. You can't. To say that we were going to come in even, and if this is what you want, Shohei. But at the same time, maybe that's me getting messy, because if it's 10 years, 750 with this funny money math, if I'm Shohei Ohtani, does that change my decision? This is the guy that kind of turned away like $40 million a year for the next 10 years. So maybe that's where the Giants landed, is like, hey, if we come in $50 million higher, is he just using that to negotiate against us with the Dodgers? Like, maybe the same playing field is the best chance we got, because this guy is going to decide where he's got got to play. So that is what it is, right? Like Shohei signed with the Dodgers. It was the team that we thought he was going to sign with. One of the more interesting free agent hitters this free agency, Jung-hoo Lee. He's coming over from Korea, right? The KBO. And he's 25 years old. So, again, tying into free agency, which you guys already know, age plays. This is why Yamamoto is looking at $300 million, if not more. I think I saw Eno put the first 4 on the board. Let's see where that dude's contract lands, because it's a really good time to have the Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, supposedly Red Sox, Cubs, like Toronto, like literally every team with a wallet is in on Yamamoto.
I mean, wherever your team is in their competitiveness, rebuild, whatever you want to call that, he fits your timeline.
Is he gonna give with Shohei funny money contracts? Is Yamamoto gonna get $400 million? I don't know. He hasn't played.
He's gonna probably still be playing after this contract because he's so young. He's gonna have like opt-outs in his deal.
Pitchers are horrifying. I guess if I'm Yamamoto, that's the smarter move. Instead of fighting for money after the deferred money, fight for opt-outs. Yeah, because if he pitches great for 5 years and he's a free agent at 30,
and he's probably
another 10-year deal.
Because he can have an opt-out after year 4 and be a free agent before 30. He's 25. Maybe it has to be 3.
That guy is about to do really good. Really good. Jung-hoo Lee.
At 32.
Interesting. He plays center field, which, position of scarcity, or, center field, shortstop, catcher, which also means he can play corner outfield. Some people questioning the ability at center field. We'll get into that a little bit. Supposedly an awesome contact bat, which we love that. It feels like baseball's going that way. Lefty contact bat. I mean, your Yankee fans' heart right now, racing. He was in a lot of teams' B plans for free agency, except the Padres. If you talk to any Padres fans over the past couple months, it was like, well, yeah, we're going to get off of some of the money, and then we'll, I think we like the fit of Lee. He'll be in our outfield. Okay, sure, Padres fans. Awesome.
I mean, Rosenthal kind of just tweeted a full package to this trade.
Okay.
Tyler Glasnow and Manny Margot to the Dodgers for Ryan Pepio and Johnny DeLuca.
Okay.
But they got to figure out financials. I guess we shouldn't talk about it like it's done quite yet, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, Rosenthal just tweeted it. Okay, so we'll get
he
that.
Tweeted 2 players going each way.
Man, we'll put a little breaking news at the beginning of this, maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe reverse engineer it. Let's close that off. Yeah. And yeah, maybe we'll just insert and we'll do a Glasnow thing at the start. So let me mess with Giants fans a little more. Not mess with. Let's talk about the contract. So Fangraphs, I love their roster resource free agent page. I quote it a lot. They don't have the international guys' projections on there. I don't know what that's about. Was Yoshida's contract kind of what we expected for Jung-hoo Lee?
Yeah, with everything just scaling up a little more.
Which the contract is that, right?
Yeah.
Like 6 for 113. I guess when you see 100 milli pop up.
100's a big number.
That feels different, even though Yoshida got 90. So not really. I think it is funny. Yoshida's questions seemed unique in the fact that he was coming over. People kind of thought he could hit, but they didn't think he could play defense, which I know, depending how the Red Sox offseason goes, he's either going to be DHing or like playing Fenway left field, which is as close as to like a positional DH as you can find. And he hit a little bit.
Red Sox fans, Yankee Stadium right field.
Yeah, hey, There's a couple of those. Houston left field. Like, there's spots. But like
that's a thing I like.
Go YouTube Manny Ramirez's highlights this morning. Defensive. It became a goof. He was like SportsCenter's go-to goof for a little bit.
Once a month, he'll do something goofy.
Manny being Manny. That was a real thing. It was a very real thing.
This might have been some cope on his end, but was texting Ryan Cohen shortly after the Soto trade, and he was saying, I was asking, like, what is now that the trade's happened and I can think about it, is the defense like bad? He's like, I think in those AL East stadiums he will have a Manny moment. I said, okay.
Yeah, that's, again, I don't watch Soto day in, day out, but a lot of the Soto plays I've seen, there's the ball that lands in front of him that you're just like,
How do you not get to that?
I don't know about that, Juan. Yankees problem.
Has a big arm. Yankees problem. I'm okay with it.
If I'm a Giants fan, we get Jung-hoo Lee. This is what I said with Yoshida, and then we got to see him in the WBC, and it was like, okay, this guy might be a dog, and he can hit. That Red Sox contract for Yoshida went from kind of like, whoa, is this scary? Is this a Bogarts panic move? To like, no, this dude looks like a baller, and he's going to figure it out, and it might be a great signing for the Red Sox. And I know Yankees fans were jealous because we needed a lefty-hitting corner outfielder. Jung-hoo Lee didn't have the same hype. He doesn't have the power seasons. I think he only has one. He has like one outlier power hitting season. That being said, he's 25. Like, again, the age here is a good thing for him. And he supposedly has like a very impressive contact bat. And there was one highlight going around. He plays with some swag. I like that. There are some numbers that are scary. One of Jimmy's first things that tapped him out of Jung-hoo Lee was he struggles with high velo. And high velo in the KBO is very different than high velo in the States. Now, I think if you are a talented contact bat, I don't think the velo has to be that scary. I think there's an adjustment period. But I think that's something you can train for. Like 93 to 95, 95 to 97. You talk to MLB guys, it's not as crazy of a difference as you'd think. It's the movement on it, which there's more movement. But I don't know. I think he's going to be, if you can hit 93 and be a solid contact bat, I think if the velo goes up a little bit, if you see it every day, day in, day out, and you train for it, I think you can adjust to that. The scary thing is if there's not a lot of power, and we see this with a lot of the slappy contact guys. You know this has always been a Nick Madrigal pod, although you haven't seen us in the same room. When you don't have power, if the hits stop coming and they don't stop coming, RIP, then your stats can look ugly for a month or for a couple weeks. Like you can find yourself in a real tight stretch. So the offense, for a guy you're giving $100 million, I think there was more question marks than Yoshida coming in. And it's, where's it going to land? Is he going to be a sick contact bat that's got, a batting average maybe around the threes, and he's got an OPS high sevens, so you're, that kind of OPS with a good batting average, like that player is an absolute weapon. Let's find out. He's 25. He's going to be useful on that side of the ball. To what degree? And this is all I'll say. And again, this isn't everything. This is almost nothing. Fangraphs, which I love. Roster resource. Go check it out. This man signed a $100 million deal, 113. They slotted him in their lineup 7th. And this is your current San Francisco Giants lineup. Lamont Wade Jr., great OBP last year, 373. Didn't have that from Lamont. Knew he was solid, but Tyro Estrada, okay. Mike Yastrzemski, Wilmer Flores, Michael Conforto, J.D. Davis, Jung-hoo Lee, Patrick Bailey, and then they've got Marco Luciano. So you just paid a guy $100 million, and they're currently slotting him in the 7th hole. Again, you can probably read way too much into that, but, the Sotos and Ohtanis get slotted in different spots. This is with the Ohtani kind of Giants news overlooking, whatever. Maybe I'm looking into that too much. Defensively, they are slotting into center field. I'm going to withhold some judgment again. But Beebs, you noted some things this morning that defensively he might not.
I don't know how long he'll be sticking in center. I think he can be out there. But.
And hey, it's a big outfield, so if you can somewhat play center field, they'll need you in right and left. They also have big prospect Luis Matos. And if we're being honest with the Giants' future, I think we look at the Yankees and the Dodgers, and like Dodgers went out, they got Mookie, Freddie, and now Shohei. Although they're fueled by this farm system. The Yankees, they got Soto, they got Garrett Cole, like they got, the Giants have been in on a lot of these guys. They haven't gotten a lot of these guys. The Giants' future, if we're being honest, it's going to be similar to the Diamondbacks or the Reds. Like, they can add around that, but their future is going to be dictated by, Marco Luciano. I think top 100 prospect at shortstop. Who is he? Luis Matos. He was their number 1 prospect. Let me see where he was on the rankings. He might have played himself out of that. He's 21 years old. Like, the Giants' future is going to be more dictated around their young talent. They've got that pitcher, Kyle Harrison. Remember, we talked about him last spring training. People were comparing him to a young mad bum, whatever. Maybe that's just Giants BS. Like a lot of baseball teams, the future of the San Francisco Giants is going to be dictated a lot around their young core. You do that around the league. They get a free agent. That was kind of Passan's tweet. There was a few tweets around the baseball world. I don't know. After Correa and Judge, and hey, Correa's contract's already looking a little scary. Judge, if we're being obnoxious Yankee fans, it didn't feel like it was going to happen. Even the Padres ended up kind of usurping them in the bidding war. Now Shohei, and he goes to the Dodgers, so that part probably stings a little more.
It's a little different.
Hey, I'm kind of more in on international guys than ever. Like, we've got enough scouting on it. Who's been like the most recent international like bust? Is there?
Trying to think. Like, there's guys that turn out to not be good, but like not. I'm trying to think of the last guy that we thought was going to be a star, and they were straight up bad, and I can't think of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. I mean, even my heart jumped back to like Yasmani Tomas. I mean, that was I think it was Cuban.
Yeah, and those guys are essentially they're traditionally more like any other like prospect where like you have good feelings, but they're young.
I don't know. I'm gonna stop because I don't have the full scouting.
Comment down below your favorite bust.
If this guy, if Jung-hoo Lee is good, the contract can be super valuable for the Giants, and they'll have him in his prime, 25 to like 31. If he can play corner outfield and he can be a good contact bat, that's a solid ball player.
He's under contract long enough to stomach whatever like transitional year happens. Like,
for me, it's just the Giants are still in a bizarre state. Like, go look at that lineup. I don't know what to do. It feels like they have 7 6-hole hitters. Like, it looks like they have 7 guys that you would love to have as your 6th hitter in a lineup.
I think all of these guys can contribit to winning.
Yeah, it's just how much does something like this work? And you wonder how much they're holding on to that 21 season where they did win the West and it felt like a magical year. Is that something they can tap into, or was that a magical baseball season? I don't know. If I was a Giants fan and that Ohtani news came out, I'd be happy that we got a free agent and I can believe in something. Like if Jung-hoo Lee signed with the Yankees, I'd be like, okay, yeah. Maybe could this guy be our leadoff hitter? Could this guy, get excited about it? But got to be some weird emotions because the Diamondbacks went to the World Series. Padres still have some high-end talent. Like what are we doing out there? We're not the Rockies. Okay, I think I'm going to transition into football, but I think we go back in time and we do a breaking news.
Yeah. You might have already seen it if this part made the cut.
All right. Let's do a little NFL football. If you're zooming out wide, quick standings check-in for everyone. Just around the league quick. NFC, Cowboys and Eagles, both 10-3. You probably know the Cowboys jumped the Eagles in the standings with that big game. Giants, 5-8. Talking Giants guys are dreaming. Commanders, 4-9. It's over. Niners, dominant, 10-3. Rams and Seahawks, both 6-7. Seahawks have lost 4 straight. Yikes. They were looking good in them jeans. Lions are 9-4, but people are starting to get a little worried about them. Vikings 7-6. Packers are 6-7. Those Bears 5-8. Watch out. And the NFC South, Bucks, Falcons, Saints, all 6-7. Sad. Dolphins atop the AFC 9-4. Bills 7-6. So there's still something there, but that Dolphins loss, that one really hurt. Jets are 5-8. No. Patriots. Is Belichick gone? What were those reports? Saying Bill might be gone after the season. Kind of have to see it to believe it, right? The guy that we've been told is like the best coach ever. Ran like the number one
Sounds mutual.
Football dynasty. We'll see. This is the whole reason I wanted to start with this part. Chiefs are 8-5, which you're like, okay, yeah, sure. They're the Chiefs. Mahomes 8-5. Broncos are 7-6. Right there, baby. Drinking the Sean Payton Kool-Aid right now. Chargers and Raiders are both 5-8. Ravens, the only double-digit win team in the AFC, 10-3. Browns 8-5. Steelers and Bengals both 7-6. Jake Browning and those Bengals. Jaguars are 8-5, right? Jaguars, some Super Bowl hype this year. They're a game up on the Colts and the Texans at 7-6. So wanted to plant some of those seeds in your head. And the big thing I wanted to reveal for you, it's a big week of the NFL season because Saturday is back. So Chargers, Raiders Thursday, you'll tune in. You'll place a bet on it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Otherwise, you don't need to watch. Saturday, fire it up. The Minnesota Vikings are at the Cincinnati Bengals. These two teams fighting for playoff lives with backup quarterbacks. You remember those Vikes won that 3-0 shootout against those Raiders who play Thursday night. They're in a weird spot because the Josh Dobbs, how quickly did that come and go? While meanwhile, Jake Browning's riding that same wave. So is he going to have his NFL comes at you fast moment? Or the Zach Taylor Bengals about to get more love? It's in Cincinnati. Kind of like Bengals in that one a lot. That's at 1 o'clock. So they've got them spaced out 1, 4:30, and 8:15. So if you want to ruin your Saturday, it's all on the table. Pittsburgh at Indy. Ew. Two teams also fighting for the playoffs somehow. Minshew Mania versus the Steelers, who some of the Kenny Pickett numbers are really sad, like Flacco having a breakout game. I think he's got almost as many touchdowns as Pickett does over basically the whole season. Both those teams are finding ways to win. Maybe we get a fun game out of it. Feels like an ugly watch. And then your night game. Denver Broncos at the Detroit Lions. Whoa. Okay, coming from Broncos fans, hopefully the Lions, like every NFL team, goes through a 3-4 game funk. The Niners lost 3 in a row. That's going to become the biggest fun fact of this season as they win the Super Bowl. Lions just lost to the Bears. They survived the Saints. They lost to the Packers. They're facing my Broncos, who are playing this just surviving game of football. The defense is flying around. They're creating so many turnovers. Russ still not fully cooking, but this Detroit Lions defense has some problems. So this is the 8:15 game. I'm going to be locked in. I think, are all these games on NFL Network? NFL Network Saturday. So if you get that, check in.
Is it this week that Rosie's on the call?
And Chris Rose is calling that Bengals-Vikings game. So you're there at 1 o'clock. And then you're there for the Broncos game. So do something in between. You don't need Colts Steelers. You need Chris Rose, though. BattleBots. Sunday. Cleveland hosts the Chicago Bears. I guess if you're NFL storylines person, the Justin Fields stuff is getting interesting. He's playing better. The Bears are very much lined up for that number 1 pick because they have the Panthers pick. So a lot of people are saying there's nothing Justin Fields can do to stay the Bears quarterback next year. If they get actually hot, it'll become interesting. Because to trade a hot end-of-the-season young quarterback that you did spend a high pick on to another team, hey, they can probably get a ton of picks back, and Caleb Williams is supposedly that guy, that it could become a fun, like you're doing your Madden Dynasty, and you could get a young, nasty, all-world hyped quarterback and get more picks for your other quarterback that was hyped, wasn't as hyped, now he is hyped again. I don't know. That's just a really fun NFL storyline that's happening in Cleveland. Let's see what that looks like. Tampa, Green Bay, not really. I could see that being a sneaky fun game as Jordan Love is tapping in to who he is as a quarterback, and Baker and the Bucs are just fighting. Could see that, but also won't. Texans at Titans, no. Jets at Miami, not really. Kansas City at New England. Man, Kansas City really needs a get-right game. That might be the perfect appetizer. Giants Saints. Ugly. That'll be an ugly one. But DeVito Mania, obviously all in. Man, DeVito versus Carr for one game. Don't make me answer that. And then Falcons at Panthers. Gross. So that's your 1 p.m. slate. So what do we need to watch there? Kind of not much. If we're being honest. Maybe fight for Saturday a little stronger. At the 4 p.m., Washington at the Rams. Okay, Rams. Let's get that hype train going. I'm in on that. Niners at Cards. No. Ooh, okay. 4 p.m. slate. The Dallas Cowboys. Hot in the street, right? We them boys. I think we have some merch in the shop that's related to the football team in Dallas. Like that's the hype train is leaving the station. They're heading to Buffalo. Ooh. Maybe at the wrong time. The Bills are in their scary part of the schedule. Remember they lost Patriots, they survived the Bucks. So they survived the Giants. Remember this game? 14-9. Giants kind of should have won. They lost to the Patriots. They survived the Tampa Bay Bucks, lost to the Bengals, lost to my Broncos, blew out the Jets, lost to the Eagles tight, beat the Chiefs tight. They're hosting the Cowboys. Man, I believe in the NFL roller coaster so much. The Cowboys, we them boys. We just jumped the Eagles. We beat the Eagles. We're feeling good. People are calling us a Super Bowl team again. The Bills, who are in this hellish stretch that we're like, are we going to get out of it? Are we going to cycle out? And by the way, how good are my Sean McDermott takes looking recently? Tough pregame speech, huh? Man, timing is a lot of things in life. You might have heard that quote before. Everyone tasting the Cowboys with everyone not being as excited about the Bills. I really like that spot in Buffalo for the Bills. So that's your 4 o'clock game that fire me up. And then the nightcap, Baltimore at Jacksonville. The Jags, who I've been tough on. And Baltimore kind of getting called the creme de la creme of the AFC. Let's see what Jacksonville has for them. In Jacksonville, Duval. So, wow. Okay, NFL. Philly at Seattle. Monday night? Sure. We'll check it out. But, man, you've got a really fun end of the slate Sunday. Buffalo and Jacksonville, kind of prove-it games for them at home against two teams that are getting tasted as much as they have been this season. Okay. So this is what I was trying to warn you people about. Sneaky, huge NFL weekend. Excited for that. And who knows what other breaking MLB news we're about to get. Because the trade market's now going. Free agents are now going. Get your Christmas shopping in, everyone. Thank you. We love you. Maybe breaking news on here. You never know. Buy 2 shirts. We love you. Bye.